Welcome everyone to the first of our Beehive Client Webinar Series. My name is Joni Hardcastle and I'm part of the benefits team here at Beehive Insurance, and I'm excited to learn with you over the next several weeks. We appreciate you joining us via technology today, and I would like to acknowledge our additional Beehive team members, William Brooks and Laurie Keller. They will be assisting us behind the scenes today. We will continue to have weekly seminars every Wednesday at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. through the 15th of September. All of our presentations will be available on our Beehive YouTube channel. We hope the content will add value to you and your business. The topics were chosen in large part are based upon the feedback from our existing clients. As we reach another milestone in the pandemic, we felt inspired to bring you information that might provide timely to you and your business. The RSVP raffles will all be drawn during our last session. And again, thanks for joining us. Our webinar today is sponsored by Aetna. We'd like to thank them for all of their support and partnership. I would now like to introduce our presenter, Erin West. Erin's work focuses on the employee health and public health practice. She has over 15 years of experience in developing and executing public health programs focused on promoting worker health, safety, and well-being. She is the founder and director of Kindredhouse, a community-based initiative to help businesses identify solutions for worker health and safety by providing them with assessments, consulting, certification, and evidence-based resources. We are grateful to have Erin join us for this segment of our webinar series.
Brother David Steindl-Rast, a monk and interfaith scholar, begins a lecture with a profound idea that I'd also like to start with today. There's something you know about me, something very personal, and there's something I know about every one of you, and that is very central to your concerns. There's something that we know about everyone we meet anywhere in the world, and that is the very mainspring of whatever they do and whatever they confront. And that is all of us want to be happy. In this, we're all together. Now, my topic is gratitude, but let me ask you, do you know people who have everything that it would take to be happy and they're not happy? Conversely, do you know people who have very little but radiate happiness? I believe these are the grateful people. I'd like to suggest that people are not grateful because they're happy, but people become happy because they're grateful. I've personally known many people in developing countries living in extreme poverty, Cambodia in particular, people who regularly practice gratitude as a part of their culture and are remarkably happy. There's also a quote by Emerson: "Cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude." Emerson offers a helpful introduction into what practicing gratitude can look like. And we'll begin there and explore the definition from many sources, current spiritual and psychological research behind this value, and the benefits of and transformative powers of gratitude practice. Gratitude is an emotion similar to appreciation, and modern research has found neurological reasons why so many people can benefit from this general practice of expressing thanks in our lives, even in times of challenge and change. To begin, though, we need to define what we mean by gratitude. At the heart of our intuitive definition of gratitude, many of us express gratitude by saying thank you to someone who's helped us or given us a gift. Some express gratitude in a spiritual manner through prayer or meditation for our blessings, our talents, family, and health. From a scientific perspective, gratitude is not just an action, it's also a positive emotion that serves a biological purpose. Psychology defines gratitude in a way where scientists can measure its effects and thus argue that gratitude is more than feeling thankful. It's a deeper appreciation for someone or something that produces longer lasting positivity and better overall health. One scholar writes, and I quote, "What do we mean by gratefulness, and how does it work? We experience something that's valuable to us. Something is given to us that's valuable to us, and it's really given. These two things have to come together. It has to be something valuable, and it's a real gift. You haven't bought it, you haven't earned it, you haven't traded it in, you haven't worked for it. It's just given to you. And when these two things come together, something that's really valuable to me, and I realize it's freely given, then gratefulness spontaneously rises in my heart. Happiness spontaneously rises in my heart, and that's how gratefulness happens." But let's back up for a minute. What do you think the greatest barrier is to gratitude? I was giving a presentation at a conference, and on the tables for each conference member, there were feedback papers. And as I read through that stack of papers following my presentation, I was struck by a consistency. Most members said it was funny, it was well written, the presentation was informative, but it ran a bit long. And I promise I won't run long today. But what part of this presentation do you think I've held on to? It ran a bit long. How many of you identify with this? This is called the negativity bias, and it's a real thing, and it's integrated in every human being. Psychologists who study the negativity bias have established that each day up to 80% of our thoughts are negative. Research over and over again shows this is a basic and wide-ranging principle of psychology. It's in human nature, and there are even signs of it in animals. Losing money, being abandoned by friends, receiving criticism will have a greater impact than winning money, making friends, or receiving praise. There's actually an evolutionary reason for this bias. The brain operates this way in order to alert you to danger. And although there may be a biological basis for the negativity bias, it's not necessarily serving us well today in our personal or professional lives. The biological theory is that those more attuned to bad things would have been more likely to survive threats and consequently would have increased the probability of passing along their genes. Well, today, one of the problems with this approach is that it means we're constantly plagued by the fear of potential or actual negative feedback, and this chips away at our self-belief and self-confidence. The effect of the negativity bias is that even with positive things happening, the negative things may dominate your thinking and emotions. Drama-filled events from the news, unforgiving thoughts about yourself, mistakes you've made, perceived slights or challenging relationships, are examples of negative things that become a magnet for your attention. As you give your attention to undesirable thoughts, it feeds the cycle of more negativity and can eventually create a full fantasy of all that could go wrong. Have you heard the saying, "Feelings are not reality"? It's mostly used in psychotherapy. Remember the last time you interpreted a comment as negative or you caught a glimpse of an unapproving look on someone's face? Very likely it took a lot of energy to manage your worry about that comment or stare. Well, let's get back to gratitude, because this can become a fierce and effective weapon as we combat negativity bias. When you are in a state of gratitude, you become more expansive, open, feel lighter and happier, and more content. In this state, you are cultivating more positive relationships with yourself and with life in general. Gratitude is the single best way that we know to override the negativity bias that's built into our human operating system. One researcher says the human brain is like Velcro for negative thoughts and Teflon for positive ones. We often experience the dramatic or negative events in our lives or thoughts as sticky, because we might feel like we are stuck in the quicksand of negativity. When you live in gratitude, you are interrupting the automatic negativity bias. Something as simple as a smile cultivates gratitude, and in just 17 seconds, A smile stimulates the feel-good hormone oxytocin. Smiling and saying thank you reduces the negativity bias and outweighs it with a positive and creative point of view. It's often said that we're always strengthening something. Are you strengthening the negativity bias, or are you cultivating gratitude and appreciating what's good in your life? One leads to more drama, and the other leads to designing your dreams and focusing on what you care most about. Now, I've sat in conferences and business meetings and religious meetings where these are the sorts of questions that inspire guilt. That's not the purpose of this conversation today. I hope you leave inspired and motivated to take control of your thoughts and therefore affect your physical, mental, and emotional responses and reap the benefits that can result. Science backs this up. In a 2009 study published in the Cerebral Cortex Journal, it showed gratitude or generosity stimulates the hypothalamus, the portion of the brain that manages stress, and the ventral tegmental area, the portion of the brain that produces the sensation of pleasure. In a 2003 study, researchers broke participants into two groups. One group assigned with the task of keeping a short weekly list of things they were grateful for, while the other group listed inconveniences or everyday events. 10 weeks later, the first group enjoyed significantly higher life satisfaction and reported better overall physical well-being than the other. Let's look at some religious and spiritual perspectives on gratitude. Several recent studies explore the relationship between spiritual gratitude, such as gratitude to a higher power, and well-being. With gratitude, people acknowledge the goodness in their lives, and as a result, gratitude helps people connect to something larger than themselves as individuals, whether to other people, nature, or a higher power. Studies show that acts of service also support overall well-being. Spiritually, religious and other spiritual movements have explored gratitude as well. Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are some of the main religions with writings on this. Historically, many religions referred to gratitude strictly regarding the need to be thankful for or to a higher power. More so, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism stressed gratitude as an integral step on the path to a good life. For example, in Judaism, followers are encouraged to start every day by being grateful for waking up again. In Islam, the purpose of the 5 daily prayers is not to ask Allah for anything, but instead to show gratitude towards Allah. Well, what are some of the benefits of gratitude? Recently, research has expanded on the transformative power. Here's an overview of some of the findings related to the study of gratitude, and I'll only point out a few. Enhanced well-being. Expressing your thanks can improve your overall sense of well-being. Grateful people are more agreeable, more open, less neurotic. That's a good thing. Furthermore, gratitude is related inversely to depression and positively to life satisfaction. Now, this isn't to say that depressed people should simply be more grateful, as depression is a very complicated disease and a struggle for millions of people. Instead, perhaps gratitude practices should be part of the therapy and the treatment for people who struggle with depression. Deeper relationships. Gratitude is also a powerful tool for strengthening interpersonal relationships. People who express their gratitude for each other tend to be more willing to forgive and less narcissistic. Giving thanks to those who have helped you strengthens your relationships and promotes relationship formation and maintenance, as well as relationship connection and satisfaction. Interestingly, stronger athleticism. Studies from researcher Long Chen found that an athlete's level of gratitude for their success can influence their levels of well-being, and more specifically, adolescent athletes who are more grateful in life are also more satisfied and tend to have higher levels of self-esteem. And gratitude also affects sports fans. Fans' levels of gratitude influence their happiness, connection, and identity with a team. And in turn, stronger fan support and pride can influence the performance and pride of the team itself for representing a greater team. Stronger neurologically based morality. Neuroscience is beginning to explore what gratitude does to the mysterious human brain. One study measured the brain's response to feelings of gratitude with functional magnetic resonance imaging. These researchers elicited feelings of gratitude in their participants and found that gratitude increased activity in areas of the brain that deal with morality, reward, and judgment. These neural findings are interesting and beget further studies. Is gratitude associated with morality? If so, this supports why philosophical and religious leaders and thinkers have used gratitude in the formation and maintenance of their societies. And it'll be interesting to see what's in store for future psychological investigations into gratitude. Well, all this is well and good, but how do we apply this to our lives? Brother David Steindl-Rast again provides some insight into how we can apply gratitude. He says, we can be people who live gratefully. Grateful living, that's the thing. And how can we do this? By experiencing, by becoming aware that every moment is a given moment and it's a gift. You haven't earned it. You haven't brought it about in any way. You have no way of assuring that there will be another moment given to you. And yet that's the most valuable thing that can ever be given to us, this moment, with all the opportunity that it contains. Behold, the master key to our happiness is in our own hands. Moment by moment, we can be grateful for this gift. So how can we find a method that will harness this? How can each one of us find a method for living gratefully? Not just once in a while, being grateful, but moment by moment to be grateful. It's a very simple method. It's so simple that it's what we were told as children when we learned to cross the street. Stop, look, go. That's all. When we're in a moment, how often do we stop? We don't. We rush through life. We miss the opportunity because we don't stop. We have to get quiet. We have to build stop signs into our lives. This can revolutionize our world. Stop. What's before me? Look. What am I grateful for, and who do I want to be right now? Go. Act with confidence and gratitude. My daughter and I have a nonprofit in Cambodia, and we build toilets. In fact, I'm known as the toilet lady in some circles. And when I come home from a trip to Cambodia, I'm so grateful and overwhelmed when I come home to a flushing toilet. But like everything, the marvel of this wears off. So I took Brother Steindl-Rast's advice, and I put sticky notes on toilets reminding me to be grateful for the flush of a toilet. And they're still there. Grateful living is important in our world because in our constant pursuit of more and better, we can easily lose sight of the riches that lay right in front of us and within us. Grateful living is a way of life that asks us to notice all that is already present and abundant, from the tiniest things of beauty to the grandest of our blessings, and in so doing, to take nothing for granted. We can learn to focus our attention on and acknowledge that life is a gift. Even in the most challenging times, living gratefully makes us aware of and available to the opportunities that are always available. Opportunities to learn and grow, and to extend ourselves and care and compassion to others. This very evening before you go to sleep, think of the positive things that happened today, and take a moment to do this every night. Consider a gratitude journal. For those struggling with depression or anxiety, this can also frame the beginning of your day. Before getting out of bed, consider just 3 things, however small, that you're grateful for. Even on a really hard day, make yourself do this, even if your internal voice is one of sarcasm. Just 3 things. If you have children, take a moment with them before bedtime to ask them to think about something they're grateful for. And set a good example by sharing what you're also grateful for, as this shows children the importance of the practice. If you feel you've neglected to thank someone in your life, maybe write them a letter, a note, explaining your gratitude, and who knows how this will impact both of your days and lives. All of these actions, however small, help shape a culture of gratitude. When people express gratitude to each other, it compels a desire to reciprocate. And this is a positive chain reaction to encourage in any family, workplace, town, and society, and we need this right now. Again, Brother Steindl-Rast says, there is a wave of gratefulness because people are becoming aware how important this is and how this can change our world. It can change our world in immensely important ways, because if you're grateful, you're not fearful. And if you're not fearful, you're not violent. If you're grateful, you act out of a sense of enough and not a sense of scarcity, and you're willing to share. If you're grateful, you're enjoying the differences between people and you are respectful to everybody. And that changes this power pyramid under which we live. It begins with you and me, your family, your network, your community.
Thank you, Erin, for this wonderful and timely advice on gratitude. Just as a reminder, all of the presentations will be available on our Beehive YouTube channel. We hope to see you all later today at 2 p.m. for our second presentation. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Have a great afternoon.